just for your information. Okay, so welcome everyone to the second webinar of the BIG IoT first open call. We had our first webinar 1 week ago and there was a lot of interest, so we decided to organize the second one. And the second webinar, just for you to know who will be presenting the BIG IoT project from our side. So my name is Jelena Mitic. I'm project coordinator, employee of Siemens. Then Stefan Schmid, who is our architecture lead from Bosch. He will present mainly the technical part of the BIG IoT project. And Claudia Simonato from CSI Piedmont. She will present more in detail the open call and how to apply. What can you expect in the next hour and 15 minutes? So I will, in the beginning, present the project and give an open call overview, and then Stefan will tell you something more about the BIG IoT technologies and architecture. After that, these two sessions, we will have a 10-minute session on question and answers, and the last part, Claudia will present the first open call, some important facts, dates, and also some information how to apply. And after that, we will have a longer session where you can ask any questions regarding a project and open call. So just for your information, this webinar will be recorded as well as the first one, and the slides and the recorded presentation will be available online. Please post your question in the chat and we will go through these questions in the question and answer sessions. And yes, a request from my side, please mute your microphone during the presentation. So any questions at the beginning? Okay, so let's start. So what is the challenge we are trying to solve in the BIG IoT project? As you might know, today there are a lot of IoT platforms existing already, and all of these platforms have their own interfaces, their own data models, and most of them, they are vertically oriented. And developing cross-platform and cross-domain applications on top of these platforms is very tedious and expensive, because you as an application provider or service provider has to implement and support various of these interfaces and different data models. Therefore, you have small innovative business have high market entry barriers, and no vibrant IoT ecosystem exists so far. So this is the challenge we want to address in the BIG IoT project. And our solution and our approach to this problem is the following one. So we, in the project, we develop and specify the BIG IoT API that enables you to provide and to consume IoT resources from different IoT platforms in unified, standardized way. Another technology enabler is Marketplace, where you can share, discover, and monetize IoT resources. And we also have a tool, we are also developing a tool that enables easy development of new cross-platform services and applications. Within the project, we have already 8 IoT platforms brought by different partners in the consortium that already speaks BIG IoT. So, for example, Bosch, we have 2 platforms from Bosch. One of them is Kinetic City platform, which is actually based on the IoT suite from Bosch, and also another so-called device level platform that is called actually Bezirk, but it's Distributed Smart Object Platform. We also have a platform, for example, from Econe, is a small, it's one SME from Greece. They have a Wabi platform, also a device level platform. We have a Siemens Advanced Parking Management platform. We have another platform from the company called World Sensing, their smart traffic platform. And all these platforms support Big IoT API. And in the project, we develop applications and services. We are actually in the first iteration now, develop different application and services for our pilots based on the input, on the IoT resources coming from these platforms. In the project, we have 3 pilots. All our use cases are in the domain of smart mobility and environmental monitoring, and the 3 pilots we have are in northern Germany, in the cities Berlin and Wolfsburg, and also on the corridor of these 2 cities. We also have a pilot in Barcelona, and we have a pilot in Piedmont region in Italy. The use cases, as I said, are in the domain of smart mobility and environmental monitoring. And those use cases are, for example, smart parking, smart traffic management, public transport optimization, healthy bike navigation, smart bike sharing, and so on and so forth. Just a little bit about some facts about the project. Project started in January 2016 and will end in December 2018. We have 12 partners and 2 link parties in the project. As you may see, we have big industry partners like Atos, Bosch, Siemens, and SEAT. We also have some smaller companies like Econe, CSI Piemonte, Wolfsburg, and so on. And we have several research institutes and universities. So regarding open call, in the Big IoT project, we have 750,000 euros for the third parties to implement their IoT solution based on the technologies that we develop in the Big IoT project. And we will have, within the project lifetime, we'll have 2 open calls. The first one is now open and will be open until 16th of June. So actually not much more time left to apply for the first open call. In this first open call, we have 300,000 euros that we will give to the third parties, and this will be 60,000 per project maximum. The second open call will be the beginning. We plan to have it in the beginning of next year, so in January, February 2018, and for this call we'll have a little bit more budget than for the first one, around 450K. Regarding the first open call, this is just a summary here. Claudia at the end will give you more details about the open call and how to apply. The focus of the first open call is to integrate existing IoT data sources and platforms by using the Big IoT API. And main focus and main objective of the call is also to populate our Big IoT marketplace with these offerings. The data sources should be related somehow to smart mobility, environmental monitoring domain. And why should you take part in the open call? Because several reasons. First of all, you have a chance to be part of a very strong consortium, a very strong ecosystem, to have collaboration and partnerships with partners from industry, with SME, with universities from our consortium. You have a chance to promote your own solution, and you can take advantage of other offerings from our marketplace to develop new services and applications, maybe in the second open call. As I said, the call is open until the 16th of June, and the project implementation is then from September 2017 until January 2018. So that was all from my side. Now I will ask Stefan to continue, and after Stefan, as I said, you will have a chance to post ask some questions regarding these two first parts. Okay, Stefan?
Okay, good morning also from my side. So in the next part I will talk a little bit about the BIG IoT architecture, give some high-level overview. Next slide. And to make this really concrete and what we really try to address, what kind of challenges with our architecture, I created one very concrete example that illustrates the challenges. So imagine you are a smart parking service provider. Next. And you like to provide parking, free parking spot information to drivers. Then the first challenge you have is how do you discover all the data sources that can provide you information about free parking spots. Imagine one city has already different stakeholders, like maybe public administrations who has this kind of information, but you also have different parking lot providers, and they all have this data. And if you now want to provide a service that works across a city, across the whole country, or even the whole of Europe, you have lots of these data sources. And one big challenge is how do you discover all these data sources. The second challenge is how do you actually access the data? Because each of these providers, they have different platforms in the background and they have different interfaces. So for you to take advantage of those data, you have to do a lot of manual integration work and implement all these different APIs. And the last challenge is how do you evolve? Imagine, for example, or we know already in the IoT world, new data sources are emerging every day. And if you provide IoT services, you can actually, it's helpful if you build a service in a way that you can quickly take advantage of new data sources and new data that become available. And how do you address this challenge? These are the three main challenges we want to address with our architecture. Next slide. And our solution is centered around marketplace. Next. So the idea is that these different data providers, they can actually register their offerings on the marketplace. They can say what they can offer in terms of data or services using semantic descriptions. Then this allows a service who is actually a consumer of data, who needs data for providing the service, can also go to the marketplace and perform a semantic search to find matching offerings. And once he finds matching offerings, in this case for parking information, can actually directly access the different data sources using a common API, which is in our case the BIG IoT API. And if new data sources come along, you can also discover them at runtime and integrate them into your service. So this addresses the three challenges we have. How do you find data sources? How do you access them? And also how you can build services that are self-evolving. Next slide. So this shows our high-level architecture, very simplified. So we basically have in the center the marketplace. And on top you see what we call here service and applications. These are in our terminology are consumers. These are either an app or a service that needs data. Next. On the bottom you see provider. These are either services or platforms that I can offer data or services on the marketplace. And you can see inside these two, we use this terminology of BIG IoT consumer lib and provider lib, which are basically SDKs that we provide as part of the project that can that these developers of those services, applications, and platforms can use to act as either a provider or a consumer on the marketplace. And those libraries, they give a programmatic API to the developers to get easy access to the marketplace, for example, for authentication of the instances, for registration of offerings, for discovery and subscription of offerings, and then also to get access to the data. As you can see here, the access actually goes through the consumer lib and through the provider lib, and this is on purpose because basically with this SDK we offer also a way for the developers to provide secure access to their resources in a uniform manner to the consumers of the marketplace. Last but not least, you saw on the right appearing the bullet points, accounting. So once data are being accessed from a consumer to the provider, both entities also send accounting information to the marketplace so that the marketplace can create statistics and also stores this accounting information, which could then be used as a basis for charging and billing. Very important in this architecture is the aspect that the access to the data is directly from a consumer to a provider. That means the data are actually not stored on the marketplace, just the description of their offerings. So this slide also shows again how the access works in the BIG IoT API. So you can imagine on the left side you have a consumer, and via web interface it calls the provider endpoint. So an endpoint for an offering. There it provides credentials which are provided by the marketplace so that only authorized consumers that actually subscribe to an offering can access it. These credentials are checked by the provider lib to make sure only legitimate consumers can access. Then you provide input data, for example, filters that you may want to use for the data you want to get. Then the provider lib calls your platform or service logic to request the data for a certain offering. You put in the response the JSON of the data or the results of the service, and then these are sent back to the consumer. Right, these are basically the generic offering parameters. Next slide. So a key part of our architecture, of our whole framework, is to have this concept of offering descriptions. On the one hand, the provider creates these offering descriptions and uses them in a registration as a payload. Then the offering description is also used, or this model is used for discovery to find offerings by consumers. And last but not least, when you actually access the offering description, it kind of describes the interface. So what kind of input and output parameter you will can use. This here is an example of an offering description. You see also here the semantic aspects of it. We follow a convention or a standard that is being developed by the W3C Web of Things community to define these offering descriptions. You see then one of the key parts. So in this offering description you provide, of course, your provider ID, a name of the offering, like a semantic type or category of the offering. But then you also define specifically all the input and output data that belong to this offering using semantic annotations, so that the consumer actually is able to interpret this data, and also to consumer lib is able to converge data that come from different providers and harmonize them. And also an important aspect of this offering description is the endpoint, so that the consumer then knows where to get access to the offering. And information like what kind of license this offering has, in what region this offering originates, and also information like price for accessing the offering can be defined here. Next. So you could already see this marketplace that we are developing here is not for the end consumers. So not for end users that are looking for apps, but our target audience are basically, on the one hand, developers, creatives that are willing or want to build new IoT applications and services, and that are in need of data so that they, or services that they want to use as consumers. But it's also for the IoT platform providers that have data or services to offer, and they want to offer them and monetize them on the marketplace. That is a bit more detailed slide on the marketplace architecture. You can see on the right side the core of the marketplace, which has different functionalities like identity management. Exchange is our functionality that kind of stores or that handles the offering registrations and also the discovery of offerings. And we use a triple store and semantic search capabilities to discover offerings, and accounting functionality. On the left side, you see that our clients, so this could be the provider lib, the consumer lib, or like a web portal, they use GraphQL as an interface towards the marketplace. Slide. So we have a first version of the marketplace running. Of course, this is still, I would say, in a alpha version. We are continuously improving it and to have a stable version on the marketplace running by September when the open call starts. The project of the open call start, so that you have a good basis for your implementations. You can already go there now and test it. That's the URL you see here on the slide. So basically, what the challenge is for you in this first call is to, as Jelena mentioned already, the focus of the first call is to actually populate the marketplace with new offerings. So if you are a startup or a company who can offer data or services on such an IoT marketplace that are related to environmental data or mobility, ideally also related to cities that are in focus of the project, then this is very valuable, and you can actually make those offerings using our provider lib, which is currently available in Java. So you can offer consumers then later on access to your offerings by this lib. You can also use the lib to interact with the marketplace. You can create these offering descriptions using the semantic annotations. Here we also would like to collaborate with you to extend our domain model to be able to really kind of describe semantically your offerings. And the challenge, of course, will be also the task to provide these offerings until the end of the BIG IoT project, because in the second call, the focus will be on applications and services as consumers that use your data to provide new smart apps or smart applications. Right, and of course, we also expect your feedback and your contributions to shape this new BIG IoT ecosystem that we are creating here as part of the project. We already have a first version of the developer guide also online. So this gives you information on where you can get the libraries, how you integrate them into your projects, how you use the libraries, what is the programming API. You find all this information on this link, BIG IoT github.io. Right, and that brings me to the end of this part. And I guess now we have some time for first questions and answers for the overall project and also the architecture or the implementation aspects of the project.
Okay. Thank you, Stefan, very much. I haven't seen any questions in the chat so far. So I don't know if everything is clear, or you want to maybe post now your questions on the chat so that we can answer them. Okay, so the first question arrived. Are we limited to data sources for phase 1?
I would say it should be either data sources or also services that might be reusable by others. That should be the focus of phase 1. Or of course also technologies, I would say, that help integrating or facilitate integrating data sources. I think that's also valuable. And of course also open data is important. So it doesn't have to be your own data. So if you are a startup and you don't have any data yet, but you have want to develop some technologies that allow the integration of already available data on the web, like open data on our marketplace, that is also a valuable contribution.
Yes. Yes, so as Stefan said, so the main focus is to populate the marketplace with new data offerings, so they can be, so to integrate either your own data sources or the open data sources. It's also valid. We have received another question regarding the slide 23. If all 5 bullets in the slide 23 will be addressed. Yes, I would say so, because as Stefan explained, you need to integrate, you need to use the API to provide your offerings on the marketplace. In order to do that, you also need to describe your offering, so you need to provide the offering description. Of course, it will be let's say a joint effort between the BIG IoT project and you to come up with the domain model and with this offering description. And you also need to provide this data on our marketplace, these offerings on our marketplace until the end of the project, so that the partners in the project and also the third parties that will be participate in the second open call also have a chance to use your data and build some new applications and services. Also, what we expect is to work with you, to receive the feedback, and also to help you understand what are your problems or what are your requirements, and also include them in the next iteration of our technology. So what we forgot to say is that we are just about to open our BIG IoT API and a part of the marketplace as open source software under Eclipse Foundation. So this will be under EPL license, but we are just in the process of doing so. So still it's not open source, but it will be.
Mm-hmm. Maybe the next question regarding the integration of the 4 interfaces. I would say actually you just need to use the provider lib, because the provider lib gives you, kind of implements all these interfaces. So it provides you, allows you to offer access to your offerings via the provider lib. It also is used for the authentication on the marketplace, for the registration and for the accounting. This is all handled by the provider lib. Maybe the picture is not very clear, but provider lib implements all these interfaces to the marketplace already. So you can simply act as a user of that lib to offer your data on the marketplace in a very simple way. So a few lines of code and you have an offering ready on the marketplace.
Yes. Okay, so there is a next question from Miguel. Should the data sources be located in the pilot sites, or we can also use data from other cities? or simply other devices not deployed. As Stefan already mentioned, we are looking for more data sources in the pilot areas, but it's not the open call. It's not closed only to. It's not only limited to this area. So also, if you have data to integrate from the other cities in Europe, this is also valuable for us. Regarding the question, simply other devices not deployed, I'm not sure I understand that. Miguel, if you want, you can comment on this.
So maybe one point also, I think what is more important is the domain. So we are interested in mobility related data and data related to environmental sensors, and so I think that's most important. And for example, or data that are relevant for the use cases that are also shown later, I think, again in the second part. And I think it's also valuable if you, for example, would have data, such relevant data for a different city where we can run the same applications and services that are being developed for our main pilot sites. That's also valuable. But it's hard to say black and white what is best. I think best would be, of course, data in our pilot areas, because then we have critical mass on applications and services in the same region.
So Miguel asked, so using access to devices such as sensors that are not deployed, just implementing their API. So we are really interested in the real data coming from the deployed sensors. Okay.
But I think maybe one important aspect is the API doesn't have. We are interested in the real data, so it doesn't have to be implemented directly on the sensor. So if you, let's say, you have access to data that are stored somewhere in the back end, that's completely fine.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so I just would like to share again the slide about the pilots and use cases, because I don't think it's coming in the third part, Stefan. So as he said, those are the 3 pilots we have, and the use cases are listed here, mainly in the domain of smart mobility and environmental monitoring. And more information about these pilots and use cases can be found on our webpage. And also the different kind of sensors we use for example, for environmental monitoring, and also for some other use case in the smart mobility. For the smart mobility, so this is anything that could be related to these use cases or to these domains and cities is interesting for us. Okay, so I haven't received any further questions on the chat, so I think we can now proceed with the last part. Open call and how to apply. Okay, so Miguel posted one more question. What data have already integrated in the pilot sites? So as I said, there is more information on this on the web page. What kind of different data in different pilots do we have? So once this data, you can find more information on the summary of the project and the pilots, and also we have deliverables. All our most of our deliverables are public, and they are also published on the web page, and there are deliverables regarding use cases and pilot specification. So if you are interested really in detail what kind of sensors, what platforms will be deployed in different pilots, please check in these deliverables, these details. Okay, so Then I will ask now Claudia to continue about open call and how to apply.
Okay, hi everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. So now I'll go through a little bit the administrative part of the presentation. I mean, I'll try to explain you how it is possible to join the open call, to describe your solution, and finally what happens afterwards, so the evaluation period, and what the winners of the open call will do to become really, in fact, actual partners of the project. So as we said, the open call is dedicated to small, medium enterprises, universities, but also companies and research institutes. We will accept only one entity per proposal, so no partnership, because it would have been quite difficult for us to understand how they work. So just one single entity per proposal. These entities are not necessary to be located in any of the free demonstration sites, but everywhere in the European countries. There are some eligibility criteria so that institution entities founded in any case or affiliated in some way with a big IoT partner are not eligible because of transparency and equity reasons, obviously. And each participant can upload only one proposal. But on the other side, participants to the first open call can participate also to the second one, which will be focused on application development. So they can then go on with their proposal in another step. The second open call will begin in January of next year. And as Elena said, we are accepting data also related to other areas, but we prefer data concerning the pilot areas in order to enrich big IoT offering concerning these pilots. So please note that you have to highlight the description of the data you provide in your proposal. Next slide, please. Okay. So who can participate? IoT platform and data providers also without a platform, but if you own data, open data or not open data, you're welcome. And also service providers also. This is not stated here, but we accept them. In the domains of smart mobility, which means traffic monitoring, parking monitoring, also public vehicles, traffic, and so on, and smart environment. For example, in our pilots, we are monitoring air quality with some sensors, but also you can monitor noise and other things like that. The data could be, as it has already been mentioned, both own or open source. The fact that you make data available using the Big IoT architecture doesn't mean that data will become automatically open, because the project has solutions for accounting, licensing, and billing, so you can manage your data accordingly to your policy without opening them at any cost. IoT platforms can contain, we are looking for IoT platforms that contain offerings and data in the domains we said. Proposals have to be uploaded in English. You will see that there is an application form for this. The maximum amount of proposal is 60,000 euros. Because we have a total budget of 300 euros and we expect 5 up to 6 projects to be selected. On our side, we have a section containing application documents, so you will gather all the information you need. We have a guide for applicants, We explain our eligibility criteria, the evaluation criteria that will be used. There's also a template for the list of deliverables that you have to provide within your proposal, and also a guide for the application form to go through it. And also it is under refining, under tuning, but you will see the collaboration agreement that will make you be a third party of Siemens and become a partner of the project. Until tomorrow, it is also available a feasibility check for which you can upload a possibly not long, short description of your proposal, and we will answer to you if it is or not matching the open call objectives. And to be in touch with us, if also considering then the second open call, you can register to our newsletter and be informed about all that is going on in the BIG IoT world. You can participate, as I said, through an application form. You can reach it in our website by a click on the F6S portal, which is a platform quite easy and intuitive to fill in. In our portal, you can also find some FAQ questions. So if you have doubts, please, before writing us, check there, because maybe we have already given an answer. Going through the application form, you will find a first part in which you have to register to describe your profile and create your team. You have to also produce information about your team and ask your co-workers to fill in, and this will help us to understand your team and your skills. Then there's a second part in which you will have together to provide some basic information about your company. You will find some labels talking about startup. No, don't mind, because the portal was designed for startup, but startup means a company. So you have to provide some basic info. For example, concerning when the company started, which are your customers and what you do, and just to understand who you are. The application form is made up of 6 main sections. So a part of this, you will then describe your IoT solution, why the solution is innovative, and which impact you think it can have in the BIG IoT ecosystem. You will describe the implementation of your solution, the data management that you imagine, and then there are some more questions concerning how did you get information of the open call, so that it will be useful for us for next step of communication. Concerning the solution, you will have to describe your platform or service or open data source. As I said, open data are not mandatory. The business domain of your proposal, so smart mobility, smart environment, as I said, and your existing partnerships at the moment. Next section is about implementation. So you have to describe a bit your proposal in terms of duration of the project, saying that we expect the project with a duration maximum of 5 months. You have to describe the deliverables, both documents, so reports, but also software that you are creating and describing your results. You will have a list of deliverables that is downloadable from the site, so that you can list the deliverable you think to provide. There are 2 deliverables which are mandatory and are concerning also the payment. So we will ask you to write an intermediate and a final technical report describing the state of the art of your project. And on the basis of this report and the evaluation of them, you will then receive a tranche of funding. And also then the budget for implementation. You will describe your budget, which will be about equipment, personnel, other goods, services, and provide also a detail of travel costs, because you will be invited to participate at least 2 meetings face-to-face. So you have to valorize also these points. What happens then? As Jelena remembered, the deadline for submission is on the 16th of June. Evaluation by external evaluation and notification of winners will be during the month of July, and in the end we will have a list of winners, which will be obviously contacted and invited for a kickoff meeting. The project activities will start in September, and winners will join the project as Siemens third party by subscribing the collaboration agreement that I mentioned, and that will be also available online. We will, as I already explained, give you support through our website with the feasibility check, with email contact to have help. After the open call, we will have a kickoff face-to-face meeting in Munich, and we are personally at your disposal, me and Jelena, for the open call, maybe more for the administrative parts, and from the technical parts, also both Stefan and Arne will be at your disposal for any clarification. So thank you for your attention. I don't know if there are some more questions concerning the, let me see, the administrative part.
Okay, yes, Claudia, we have received some questions in the meantime.
Okay.
One of the question from Giacomo, feasibility service, how many pages and which format? So if you visit our webpage, following the link to feasibility check, you will see that the maximum number of pages is 2 pages, and I think they should be uploaded as PDF, in the PDF form. And how many eligibility? Are Swiss partner eligible? Claudia, maybe you can comment on this.
Okay. We have to check. In the website, there's a link because the eligibility criteria are the same as H2020 program, but they are updated. And I know there was in recent time an agreement for Swiss, so for Switzerland. So we have to check if this is already in the list provided by H2020. In any case, you can find in the guide for applicants, which is a document present on the site, there's a link into the H2020 site with the updated list of eligible countries.
Yes, and I think that I think that the Switzerland was recently added to the list. But Giacomo, please check. If you have any problems, contact us. We will try to find out.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Another question from Giacomo: how many deliverables envisioned on top of the 2 mandatory? I would say this is up to you to define. Another question, what is the expected open call proposal implementation duration? So we expect the project's maximum duration should be not longer than 5 months. So if the project starts in September, they should end end of January 2018. So we think this is a
This is also,
sorry, Claudia?
this is also because then there will be, yes, I wanted just to add that this is also because in January there will be the second open call starting, so there will be another open call and then evaluation period, and if you want then to participate to the second call, you have to be almost at the end of your first project, let's say. So that is the duration.
Yes, and also we also now in the beginning of this year started implementing the API, or also implementing services and applications on top of different platforms, and this was the estimation we came up that 5 months is enough time for you to get to know our enabling technologies, work with them, and provide your solutions on our marketplace. Okay, so I think that was all.
Maybe it's also worthwhile.
Yes.
Maybe it's also worthwhile mentioning that we are planning kind of a kick-off meeting in September, where we will also have a hands-on explanation or workshop or small hackathon on how to use our libraries and the marketplace.
Yes, thank you, Stefan. Yes, we will come up very soon with a date for this meeting, so the winners will know as soon as possible the date for this meeting, but we plan beginning of September, so and it will be more hands-on experience with our technical team. So just for you to know, Arne Broring is a technical manager. He's also a Siemens employee, and he was, if you notice, one of the presenters in the first webinar. Stefan is also a very important guy in our technical team. He's in charge of the high-level architecture, and so these two persons will be the main contact for the technical questions, and they will for sure take part in the kickoff meeting in September. Okay, so we have received two more questions. Johannes, how many details do you expect for the deliverables list? I don't know, not many, but of course it should be clear for us what will you deliver. So I don't know, just as much details as that can help us to understand. Another question: the template only provides a more or less informal list. Yes, as I said, we need only to understand what you will deliver, and this so it's up to you how many deliverables you want to specify there, and also what kind you want to provide. Okay, Giacomo has a question regarding evaluation criteria. So, are the deliverables public? So I think, Claudia, correct me if I'm wrong, that they don't have, that it's up to you to specify if they will be publicly available or available only for the BIG IoT consortium. Claudia, can you?
I think they should be said that in this case, deliverable of this open call are quite technical, apart from reporting or other things, but we are talking about an integration, a software integration. So in general, the deliverable of the European project should be public, I think. But then, in case of software, I don't think they should be open source. That it is another issue.
So my understanding is, software doesn't have to be open source, of course. If you have a software deliverable, but it can be. So if you say you want to contribute that may increase the impact of what you have done in this project. But I think it's up to you as a partner or as a organization to decide.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and the these reports that we need for these scheduled payments definitely are not public. They are confidential. And just for you to know, so this deliverable, this midterm deliverable report, and also the final report, we need for the scheduled payment. Actually, once you sign the collaboration agreement with Siemens as a third party, you will receive 40% of funding. After the midterm report evaluation, you will receive the 30% of funding, and at the end of the project you will receive the rest, so 30% of funding. So this is explained in the guide for applicants, and also I think it's one of the questions in the frequently asked questions section on our website. Okay, so we received another question from Marco. Do we have to use only data related to Barcelona, Northern Germany, or Piedmont in our proposals? As we already said, you are not limited only to this region, only to these pilots. We prefer a bit data coming from these pilots because could be valuable for our use cases, but we are not limited to this, and we are also looking forward to have some interesting data from other cities and regions in Europe.
And I think if we have similar data in a different city that we have, for example, in our pilots, that would be helpful, because then we could use the same services and applications, maybe also in other cities.
Yes.
I think the important thing is it should be related to mobility scenarios and environmental data.
Yes. Okay, so at the moment there are no new questions on the chat. Just maybe one question to Stefan and Claudia. Would you like to add something that we didn't mention so far?
Not from my side, I think.
Okay.
I just want to say, if people have questions that come up later, more related to technical aspects, I'm happy to take them via email.
Okay. Okay. Yes, we can. Actually, for posting the questions, further questions, you have several possibilities. So you can either use the contact us form on our website. If you are already registered in this application portal F6S, you can also post a question there in the discussion part, and as soon as we receive your question, we will try to answer them. And if Stefan also wants to answer them directly, that would be also fine. We can provide this information. So we are there to help you if you have any question or concerns or doubts. So don't hesitate to contact us. There is only some days, 8 days left, so we will try to be as fast as possible.
Jelena, there's a further question from Johannes. Do you have any requirements up to the quality of the provided data, such as availability, performance, and so on?
So I will forward this question to Stefan. Stefan,
I would say, I mean, the data should be usable by, of course, by other services or consumers in the second call, open call, or also in our pilots. But there is no, there are no hard criteria. It's also very subjective. What is the good quality of data? So, yeah, if you have really good data, please highlight them in your proposal. But there are no hard criteria, I would say.
Yes, as Claudia already mentioned, it's very important, I think, for the evaluators mostly, and also for us, to understand what kind of data you are providing. So please describe them in detail in your applications, so that it's clear what kind of data, how many data sources, where the data sources are located. So this is very important. Okay, so just the last call. Are there any more questions you would like to post now? Okay, so in that case, I would like to close this second webinar. I hope you will apply for our call, and we also would like to welcome you in our very motivated and very good consortium, and to welcome you to be part of our BIG IoT team. So thank you very much. Have a nice day, and we will publish the slides and the webinar probably tomorrow. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.